Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth.
Today's game is Astro Bot, the third game in Sony's robotic platforming series, and filled to the brim with cameos. Does Astro Bot reach the stars? Let's find out. Astro Bot is a 3D platformer collectathon, and the first in the series that I'd argue isn't at least kind of a tech demo, with Astro Bot Rescue Mission being for PSVR 1 and Playroom for PS5. This one directly follows Playroom, with a world full of PlayStation branding, and Astro Bot and company are flying around on a giant PS5 that gets its parts stolen by a rude alien. You gotta go to 4 main worlds and a bonus one to save bots and salvage parts. If you played Playroom, and if you own a PS5, I don't know why you wouldn't have, then you should be familiar with the gist of Astro Bot, though this one thankfully eases off the controller gimmicks. Levels are often linear experiences that hide many secrets along their pathways, but there are a few that are slightly more open and allow for a little more exploration. Along the way, you'll be finding escaped bots, this game's core collectible, many of which are hiding in clever ways off the beaten path. As a fun bonus, many of these bots are themed around PlayStation game characters, such as Dante from the Devil May Cry series, or Solid Snake. While most levels just use Astro's standard kit of spin attack, jump, and hover, which also attacks beneath you, often you're given a level-specific power-up, such as punchy fists, a chicken rocket booster, and more. Bosses always have some kind of power-up used to battle them, with them being the usual does a series of attacks and then you get a free hit variety, usually in their poor eyes, but they mix things up enough to stay interesting. After a boss, you'll save a particularly important PlayStation character such as Kratos and his son, and then do a mission themed around their games, which are definitely the highlight. Within the various world maps are also secrets. By smashing asteroids or hunting down ships, you'll unlock a bunch of shorter challenge stages, some of which remind me of the bonus levels from Super Mario Sunshine. And like Mario Sunshine, they can get pretty tough. Back at your hub, you'll deposit your bots, and within the various zones within the hub are minor obstacles that unlock based on how many bots you've recovered, which lead to more rewards. You can also dump your coins into a capsule machine to find accessories for your characters, skins, costumes, and more. And that is Astro Bot, a 3D platformer collectathon like its predecessors, just now a standalone game that isn't free or requires an outdated VR headset. So what did I like about Astro Bot? Well, the platforming levels here are exceptional, with the main courses having a near perfect difficulty ramp up, and the more challenging ones deceptively devious. Not to mention the number of secrets makes replaying them a blast. Additionally, this game has an incredible amount of variety. The power-ups seriously mix up the game, and when you find them later, they often have a new wrinkle to make them feel fresh again. Nearly every level has something new and cool to experience or see. And lastly, maybe I'm a sucker, but I love seeing all these PlayStation characters being astroed. The same kind of enjoyment I get from like the Lego games. It's very charming, and there's some insanely deep cuts, like I really did not expect Mosquito from the PS2 game Mr. Mosquito to show up. When it comes to the bad, and this might just be a personal thing, I found some of the PlayStation branding in the game a little overplayed. Don't get me wrong, the cameos are totally fine. It's weird things like the coins being branded, the controllers and the PS5 console being characters, and so on that just feels a little off. Additionally, some of the motion control stuff with the controller just didn't work as intended, or is obnoxious to do. Thankfully, you can disable all of it from the accessibility settings if you want. It was just an oddly unpolished part of an overall polished game. And lastly, when you call your bots to do stuff in the hub world, sometimes the game messes up and the last couple just don't show up, so you have to call them again, which is very annoying. And yes, I'm really reaching for cons here, I know. There's no right games here on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And I went into Astro Bot knowing it was going to be good, maybe even great. What I didn't expect was it being one of the best games I've played all year. It's incredibly charming, has tons of imagination, and somehow keeps its platforming fresh its entire runtime, with an added bonus of the optional levels being great challenges. This is honestly one of the best first-party games Sony has released in a while, and I absolutely recommend it to anybody who owns a PS5. Hey, big budget 3D platformers are back, guys. Microsoft, where's my Banjo-Kazooie game? That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played or heard of Astro Bot? Are you one of the few people like me who actually played the VR one? Let me know what you think in the comments, but regardless, go out there and make sure you give Astro Bot a look.